Once upon a time, there lived a wealthy man named Komba. He owned vast fields of yams and herds of cattle, and his wealth was the envy of many. Yet, his heart was as cold as the harmattan wind. His wife, Imoni, was his opposite, beautiful, kind, and endlessly caring. She was beloved by all except the one person who should have cherished her the most. Komba's voice thundered one evening as Imoni returned late from the market.
Why are you late again?
He barked, his eyes narrowing.
Did you waste my money gossiping with the women there?
Imoni lowered her basket gently and said, I stayed to help Mama Irene. Her basket broke and she needed help carrying her produce home. Komba scoffed, slapped her and the basket aside.
You spend my time on fools and beggars. You think kindness will put food on the table?
Imoni bit her lip to hold back tears. Komba, kindness is what makes us human. It's what the gods value.
The gods?
Komba spat. The abuse continued for years. Imoni endured it all, hoping that one day her husband would change. But instead, his cruelty only grew. Imoni became very sick and Komba still forced her to work in his farm without proper medical attention. The sickness became very unbearable and the villagers pleaded with Komba to care for his wife, but he said that his wife was pretending to be sick because she is lazy. One fateful evening, after days of unrelenting terrible fever, Imoni called for Komba. Please. She whispered weakly, her voice barely audible. Promise me you will be kind when I am gone. Komba crossed his arms.
Enough of your nonsense. You go nowhere. Better get up and go back to work. You lazy human being.
But Imoni's eyes closed, and the light in them faded forever. The village mourned her loss, and even the birds seemed to sing softer songs that day. Komba, however, showed no remorse.
She was weak.
He muttered to himself.
I need a strong wife.
Within a month, Komba married Catherine, a woman from a neighboring village. Catherine was not as outwardly beautiful as Imoni, but she was clever and sharp-tongued. Unlike Imoni, she met Komba's harshness with unflinching defiance. One evening, Catherine served him dinner. As soon as Komba took a bite, he grimaced and spat it out.
This is terrible. What kind of wife can't even cook properly?
He roared. Catherine leaned back in her chair, her expression calm. The food tastes fine to me. Maybe it's your bitterness that's spoiling it. Komba's jaw dropped. No one had ever spoken to him like that before. He pointed a trembling finger at her.
How dare you talk to me that way?
Catherine stood, placing her hands on her hips. And how dare you think I am here to be your servant? I am your wife, not your slave. Komba stormed out, but her words echoed in his mind. Strange things began to happen in Komba's life. His yam fields, once lush and green, withered despite the rains. His cattle fell ill, one by one, until his once bustling pen was silent. The villagers, who had long tolerated his arrogance, stopped coming to his aid. One night, Komba had a dream. He stood in a vast field under a blood-red sky, and before him appeared two figures. One was Imoni, her once gentle face now filled with sorrow and judgment. The other was Catherine, radiant and unyielding.
Imani.
Komba whispered, falling to his knees.
Forgive me.
Imoni's voice was like the rustling of leaves. Your cruelty cannot be undone with mere words, Komba. You broke me. You ignored my love. And now you must face the consequences. Catherine stepped forward. Your suffering has only begun, Komba. Until you learn to value others, the land will rebel against you, and peace will elude you. Komba awoke in a cold sweat, the weight of their words pressing on his chest. The next morning, Komba stumbled into the house, his face pale.
Catherine.
He said, his voice trembling.
Tell me what I must do to end this curse.
Catherine looked at him, her gaze steady. You must change, Comber. Return what you've taken from others. Treat people with kindness. Until then, the gods will not hear your praise. For the first time in his life, Comber felt a pound of regret. He began visiting the villagers he had wronged, offering them yams and cattle. He worked in the fields alongside his laborers, apologizing for his past arrogance. Slowly, the land began to heal, and so did his heart. Years later, an old and humbled Comber gathered his grandchildren by the fire.
Once, I was a cruel man.
He admitted.
I broke the heart of a good woman, then I suffered for it. But the gods gave me a second chance through your grandmother, Catherine. She taught me that a man's wealth is not in his fields or cattle, but in the kindness he shows to others.
His grandchildren listened with wide eyes, and the story of Imoni, Catherine, and the heartless man became a lesson passed down through generations, that even the hardest of hearts can be softened when faced with the power of love and justice. Moral lesson. The story of the heartless man and the lesson of two wives offers several powerful moral lessons. 1. Kindness and respect are essential. Value and respect the people who care for you, as love and compassion leave a lasting impact, while cruelty leads to regret and suffering. 2. Change and redemption are possible. Personal growth begins with humility, admitting faults, and striving to make amends. Forgiveness must be earned through genuine transformation. 3. Wealth is meaningless without humanity. True strength and fulfillment come from treating others with fairness and compassion, not from material possessions or power. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the notification bell to know when a new video is posted. Also, follow me on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. God bless you.